The college football playoffs coming up. And we got the rankings out, and that's happening every Tuesday now. And I was just looking over some things earlier today, and I think we could have chaos on the horizon. In fact, I know we probably will. But I was thinking about 3 different scenarios. I want you to walk through these with me, because I think there are some things that if everything fell into place perfectly, could just send this thing up in smoke. One of them is what I call the Big Ten conundrum. So you're going to have to follow me here. I know some of you are visual learners. I am too. So when everybody says, well, what about this, and this, and you're trying to close your eyes and picture it, I know it can be tough, but just follow me here. So Oregon, they play Iowa this weekend. Let's say Oregon loses to Iowa, and then they win out. Let's say USC beats Iowa. Oregon beats USC. Washington just loses a game somewhere along the way. And then Washington beats Oregon. Ohio State beats Michigan. I know I said Oregon wins out earlier. Anyway, I know that's very convoluted. What I'm telling you is I have some bullet points here. None of these are out of the realm of possibility. Like Oregon falls this weekend. USC falls to Iowa. Oregon over USC. One more Washington loss. The point there is, if Ohio State, after all that, goes and beats Michigan at the end of the year, there's a world where all these teams are 9-3. So Ohio State's free and clear, they're in. Indiana's free and clear, they're in. But given the scenario I just laid out to you, which is not insane, Oregon's 9-3, USC's 9-3, Washington's 9-3, Iowa's 9-3, Michigan's 9-3. I don't think any of them are in, and the Big Ten has 2 playoff teams. That would be a disaster. As Tony Pate and crew are steadily pushing automatic qualifier formats, because they think they deserve at least 4 or at least whatever, and that would be a disaster of epic PR proportions. So that's the first one. The Big Ten conundrum is the first one we could have on our hands. The second one, it's a happier one, would be what we call the Big 12 lottery conundrum. This would be a conundrum for the rest of the country, not for the Big 12. So this Saturday, we'll be there for Texas Tech, Brigham Young. Texas Tech hosting Brigham Young. Let's say Texas Tech wins that game. Let's say Utah just wins out. They go 10-2. Brigham Young or Cincinnati beats Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. At that point, if just those 3 things happen, I think we have 3 Big 12 teams in the playoff. Because Utah would almost certainly be in as an at-large. They're going to go 10-2. They were already 13th the other night. And if they go to Baylor and beat both the Kansas schools, they're not going to drop. So I think they would be in. Your Big 12 champion would be in, and that's Brigham Young or Cincinnati. And if Texas Tech makes the Big 12 championship game, they will have made it squarely in the top 10. I don't think the committee is going to drop you out for losing your conference title game. They didn't with Southern Methodist last year. I don't think they're going to do it with Texas Tech. So that would be 3 Big 12 teams in. What if the Big 12 got more than the Big 10? Ugh. Also, there is just as easily a world where the Big 12 is a 1-bid league. Brigham Young just wins out and wins the whole thing. Utah loses another game. Big 12's a 1-bid league. Could be 3, could be 1. Probably more than likely it's 2. But both of those things are in the cards right now. And then we'll get back to the video 1 second. Do me one quick favor. Look down. Make sure you're subscribed. Most of you are. If you're not, please do so. It's the way we keep the channel free, we keep the videos coming, and we get to do college football year-round as God intended. All right, as promised, back to the video. We have what we call the SEC flood conundrum, and this would be a conundrum for everyone who doesn't live in the South, because this would be the utter disaster scenario for SEC haters. And here's all that has to happen. Texas and Oklahoma and Vanderbilt win out. That's all that has to happen. If that happens, A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vandy, Oklahoma, and Texas, 7 SEC teams, all have 1 or 2 losses. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Which 2-loss SEC team or teams are we leaving out there? And even if you remove Vandy, let's say Vanderbilt goes and loses to Tennessee. All right, so Vanderbilt's out of it, Tennessee's out of it. They're both 3-loss teams. You'd still have half a dozen 2-loss teams from the SEC. And to take that a step further, Texas or Oklahoma would be locks with 2 losses. But especially with Texas, I'm wondering right now if they're sitting here already on the bubble and they go and they lose a very close game at Georgia next weekend, 24-21 or something like that. The committee just showed us the other night, you get minimal punishment for losing competitive games against high-level teams. So I don't think Texas would fall off a cliff. And then what if they go and they beat Texas A&M in their last act of the year? Would it be enough? In fact, I guarantee you it would be enough where there would be a big conversation about a 3-loss Texas, which would enrage most of the country because, number one, it's a 3-loss team, and number two, it's Texas. That's why we call it a conundrum. That's why we call them chaos scenarios. None of those would shock me. On a somewhat kind of not related note at all, I was trying my best to find a connection here, but there's not. The Fall Don't Lie Tour is headed to Lubbock, Texas. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, man. I'm getting out there. I'm spending all Friday in Lubbock and then all Saturday in Lubbock. Spend as much time as you can in Lubbock, Mima always said. No problem. No problem. I think Buddy Holly said that too. So the Fall Don't Lie Tour shirt there, right there in the Pate State store, patestateMaterial.com. We make a version for every place we go. So there's a Fall Don't Lie Tour t-shirt for every stop we make, but we only make it available for 1 week. So right now the Lubbock t-shirt is doing numbers this week, first off. And secondly, it's available for like 2 more days. And then it's done and I can't even get one. I can't even. My sister wants one. It's just a strange affinity for Lubbock, Texas. Sorry. Wait till next year. So we'll be there. Fall Don't Lie Tour will be there. Really excited to get out there. I have been down a rabbit hole all week of the 2008 Texas Tech game. I've been listening to like Stanford Steve and Rosillo and all these people tell stories about how they were there and what it was like, the pregame, in-game, post-game scene. And I'm like, well, I was watching at home, and that was fun. I was just a little kid. Not quite. I was a legal adult by 2008. But still, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was like. Lubbock was on the moon. Lubbock's in like Russia, isn't it? That's what I thought in 2008. And then I watched Michael Crabtree and Graham Harrell, and I watched Mike Leach, and I watched them using a kicker that they had gotten out of a kicking competition during the season, which I would advise Marcus Freeman to do, but he can't right now because they can't add people to the roster at Notre Dame. Anyway, I'm excited. That's how what you just witnessed the past 45 seconds is how my brain works all day. It's a terrifying place to be. And I'm able to control it just long enough to do 1.5-hour shows every now and then. I just keep it in the lines. It's like bumper bowling. Just pull the bumpers out long enough to make the show make sense. But that's normal for me.